You know, with lots of chifi, you get brands with really random names, like it's usually made up of a jumble of various alphabets that has eventually formed up to congeal into a name. Today on the show, we have a brand that has a less jumbled up name with at least half of it making some sense. That's right, we have the NiceHCK DB2 in the studio today. So NiceHCK has joined the waifu hype train and launched the DB2 with one plastered right smack in the center of the box. She is very obviously showing her biggest assets, the earphones of course. Removing the sleeve, you get the same picture below it on the box because nice things have to come in pairs. Opening it, you see the earphones themselves with a very nice mother of pearl effect faceplate. The nicest thing, of course, is the waifu trading card that NiceHCK has packed into the box. Apparently, the waifu is called Tianhui. I now want to collect all of these cards, so someone help me. Below that is the carrying pouch, and that thing opens with a squeeze. Inside it are the cables and two sets of ear tips, one with a larger ball while the other has a smaller ball for reduced treble. The DB2s are plastic fantastic with build really about the same quality as you get with KZ earphones that is recently made. It's a lot better. What I really adore on these are the mother of pearl-esque faceplates, which is really nice at a $20 price point. My unit here has a see-through chassis where you can see the driver in its enclosure. Talking about drivers, the DB2 is a hybrid design with a 10mm titanium-plated graphene-coated driver that is paired with a balance armature. The chassis has a 2-pin termination for easy changing of cables. The cable provided is a 2-pin cable that is terminated to a 3.5mm jack, and that is made of OFC copper. Moving on to sound, the DB2 is a neutral warm sounding IM that is in line with offerings from other brands including the recent CCA Rhapsody. They do not graph the same, but in terms of tone they are kind of similar. In a way, the DB2 out KZ the KZ. Similar but cheaper. Anyways, the DB2 is a hybrid design with a typical hybrid tone where the DD handles the bass while the mids and treble is sorted out by the balance armature. I have included a graph here for your reference. When it comes to bass, I found that it is a decent performer. It is slightly slower sounding compared to the balance armature used. As such, it isn't the most precise sounding, but then again, considering the price, it is pretty decent. It has a rather prominent sub-bass section. Mid-bass is also quite prominent, ensuring a rather full sound. Details in the bass is pretty decent with good rumble. Bass on the DB2 excels in simpler music. It gives a rather satisfying rumble where the tone of the music is simpler and purer. However, when the music becomes a little bit more complex or distorted, the dynamism diminishes slightly. Next, moving on to mid-range, vocals on the DB2 is clean with good definition for the price. I think they paint a rather nice overall picture. They sound rather energetic and fun. Vocals are a little bit forward and will be quite prominent in your soundscape while listening to them. I do feel that the DB2 could do with a little bit more micro details as it will make the various instruments sound more interesting to listen to, especially in this price range. The DB2 has a natural leaning, slightly warm tonal weight. The overall transience is actually quite decent. And moving on to treble. Treble extension is nothing out of the ordinary for the DB2 for its price. I don't find them to be particularly airy or extended. Thankfully, the DB2 isn't sibilant and can be quite a comfortable listen for quite a long listening session. Soundstage. When it comes to width and height, I found width and height are quite average on the DB2. It sounds like a small jazz venue where things are a little bit more intimate. When it comes to depth and positioning, depth is surprisingly good on the DB2. This is probably due to the dynamics from the bass. Positioning is decent as it is adequate enough for you to tell where the instruments are placed and where the sound is coming from in the mix. So let's compare the DB2 with other $20-ish cheapies. Firstly, versus the Tangzu Waner. I do find the Tangzu Waner to be a smoother listen compared to the DB2. However, bass on the Waner is more mid-bass heavy and sounds a bit more one note. The DB2 has bass that goes deeper by comparison. Details between the two are extremely similar, and this is really quite expected coming from an entry-level model in the $20 price range. When it comes to treble extension, both are again very similar. And next, versus the KBEar Pecker. I think the DB2 wins on the whole for overall tonality compared to the Pecker. The Pecker is just a very shrill sounding IEM with an overload of treble, while the DB2 is better balanced, overall ensuring a better, longer listening experience. Both again have very similar levels of detail and resolution, but in terms of tonality, I think the DB2 sounds quite a bit better. So next, what I like about the DB2. I really enjoy the faceplate of the DB2 for something so pretty to be at this price. I think if you're a sucker for looks, then really look no further. This is one of the prettiest I am at a cheapy price point. The overall sound of the DB2 is actually very decent for the price. It is an overall very well balanced set for cheap. Like it or hate it, the waifu aesthetic can be polarizing, but it is nice that they added a trading card like thing in the package. I mean, if you don't like them, just hide them in the box forever. What I do not like about the DB2, I do wish for DB2 to have just a bit more micro details, but this issue is one that plagues most $20 IEMs anyways. So the question now is that, is this a blind buy, good buy, safe buy, or avoid IEM? I would say that this is generally a safe buy option. Great if you're into the whole waifu aesthetic. It is rather competitive in its cheapy price range and should serve those who are on a really tight budget. And with that said, I hope you like this week's episode of the Superchunk Super Audio Shows. Sometimes I like to introduce some brands that isn't very commonly talked about, like NiceHCK. They've been here for a while, but never really has been in the consciousness of IEM connoisseurs. With that said, if you like the content so far, please kindly press the like and subscribe button somewhere down below. It will help me out a bunch. And yeah, if you are already subscribed, you are an amazing person. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys soon.